Hey guys, Roland Ewikim here from the home office once again in lockdown 2.0 here in Melbourne Metro. Guys, today is a short video on how to hire remotely for many businesses in Melbourne and many other businesses through the first round of lockdown across Australia. If they were needing to grow, they had to figure out how they were going to be able to hire remotely, not being in the office. So a couple of key things that we're seeing businesses do, certainly some key tips that we would recommend in a remote, hiring process, and also a remote. I'll just touch on the onboarding, but we won't go right into depth on that today. So firstly, of course, just be really clear on what your recruitment process is. If you've already got one in place, which would usually include face-to-face contact with them coming into the office, it's just amending that to how that will change. So, for example, the first meeting you might have via a Zoom. In terms of meeting the team, you might have a second round via Zoom as well, where you have a few people in the team together on a Zoom, like you would a team call. It doesn't have to be any different. If you're the manager or director of your business, you could even show them the office via literally walking them through on your laptop or on your phone on a Zoom or a FaceTime. It doesn't have to be complicated with trying to get them in there if it's not necessarily achievable. So they're just some really simple ways that we've seen clients still manage to actually get to a level of comfort to hire someone. One of the really important things is in typically a second stage interview of putting a candidate through some kind of case study or scenario. And that's a way that you as an employer or manager are going to be certain that that candidate has got the capabilities to do the certain job that you're hiring them for. So putting them through some kind of scenario where you put a scenario in front of them, you might leave them for 15, 20 minutes. They then come back, you come back in the room and then they talk you through what they would do in that situation, whether it be a loan scenario, whether it be you give them your file notes on a specific situation. You want to see how they put together a strategy. How we see this done via Zoom is you do a little screen share. You might do a screen share of your notes or email it to them on the spot on that Zoom. Sort of give them 10 minutes. You just sort of pause, put the Zoom on mute, and then come back again via that screen share, and they can almost share their notes of what they've put together, maybe on a Word document, maybe they've scribbled on another document, and you get to actually really see how they would actually think through a certain scenario. Again, giving you comfort to feel they do have the capabilities to do the job or they don't. So there's some of the key things, guys. I think if the recruitment process is in place, the decision is just a small part of that. The decision becomes super easy if you've got the right process. So again, if you've already got a really good recruitment process, it just needs to be adapted to be remote. And from there, it's really still reference checks are all done typically over the phone. Contracts are all done via email. Then it comes to remote onboarding and how to onboard them remotely. And one of the key things that we're seeing businesses do is they're recording everything. Every conversation they're having with their team via a Zoom, they're recording it and they're building a bank of training resources. And that in turn is making their life so much easier, and a new starter's life so much easier when it comes to an onboarding remotely from home. Just on that example, we've had 2 business development managers that we placed who have started from home. Such a weird world that we're in at the moment, and for them it's very surreal, but they've been very fortunate that they've had their first week filled up with Zooms of meeting key people in the business, meeting their credit manager, having sessions with their direct manager, with other key stakeholders in the business, other key pre-recorded webinars that they could just watch for training, pre-recorded webinars on how to actually use the system. All these things that can be done and pre-recorded, rather than you having to manually show someone through how to do something, is not only going to make their life easier, but it's actually going to free you up through that starting onboarding process to then be able to spend more quality time with that employee doing more higher productive training. So again, just a couple of key tips today. If you are in Melbourne, hopefully your motivation is still high. What's great is that our industry, being mortgage broking, is still thriving. Rates are as low as they've ever been. Where our clients are as busy as we've ever seen. If you're a job seeker in this market, you've never had more power. I guess there is a war for talent, and if you have that talent and that experience, there are always plenty of employers in this space looking for good people. So I hope this video has been helpful for both employers, employees, and managers. And if you do need any advice or support, of course, you can reach out. The numbers are on the screen.